Right, guys, welcome back. This is Above Average FPL. My name is Adam, and his name is Baker. How are you doing this evening, mate?
Very, very well, mate. What a day of football.
Yeah, mate, it's been ridiculous. I mean, from an FPL perspective, I guess some people have not had the weekend that they've wanted, but I mean, from a Premier League point of view, just been absolutely ridiculous. Goals everywhere, madness, madness. I don't think we woke up this morning expecting the results that we expected or we saw today. No chance.
Nah, nah. But I think the good part is that the league is what the league is now. Like it's strong. Teams can take each other on.
Yeah.
And we've got lots of new managers that want to take people on. We've talked about some of the guys, Jesse Marsh, Eddie Howe, Thomas Frank, those type of guys. We've now got Marcus Silva is a similar type of manager. We've got loads of people out there that are willing to take teams on. And I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Definitely. Definitely. Cool. Well, evening to everyone in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. We may have a little bit of lag on Baker's video today. I do apologize for that. I think it might be my internet, if I'm honest, but hopefully the audio is good and we can relay everything that we need to for this game week. And yeah, with that in mind, we're just going to do the quick admin and we'll be right back. Firstly, guys and girls, thank you for joining us. Whether you're catching up with the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, or whether you're with us in the live stream, we appreciate every single one of you. And that doesn't matter whether you found us for the first time here today, or whether you're a seasoned follower of the show. Above Average FPL is supported by our good friend Dan. He is at CryptoBlockDan on Twitter. Dan has been in the crypto space for many, many years, doing very, very well. And he's currently working as an analyst with a company who works specifically in play-to-earn crypto gaming. Now, if you're interested in the blockchain, if you're interested in NFTs and the use cases of the technology in the future, then please go drop him a follow. Go ask him some questions. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer anything that you need to know. If you haven't maxed out all your mini leagues yet, there's one more that you can join. That is UAT148. The auto join links are going to be down in the description below. Last year's winner Jamie Pigott is in there, so it must be a good mini league to be in, I would say. And we're going to shut entries at the start of the World Cup, so make sure you get in there nice and early and see if you can win it. If you enjoyed the content that you see today, there's a couple of ways in which you can support the channel. The first one is to like, comment, subscribe and review. It helps us promote the channel and it allows us to reach more and more people looking for weekly FPL content. Alternatively, Baker and I are really looking to grow the channel this year. We've had a great 12 months, but we're looking to take that even further. If you wish to support the channel in that way, we have our YouTube memberships open now. We're looking to do maybe better content, more content, anything that we can make the FPL experience better for you guys. We are going to try and do that. Finally, once again from Baker and I, thank you very much for being here, and now we'll get back to the good stuff. Cool. So how's your game week been so far then, mate?
I think it's okay. I mean, it's a low scoring week. Kind of semi-expected it to be low scoring week. A lot of it's going to be dependent on whether we get a game tomorrow night or not, really.
Yeah, that's going to be quite key.
But a lot of us have got Andreas points coming off the bench if it is called off tomorrow, and I've got my vice on Haaland if it doesn't. So we'll see how that plays out. But if it goes ahead, then I get, I've got triple Liverpool tomorrow, Diaz, Mocap, and Trent. So no issues really. Yeah, but I've seen people saying about they got like 8 million game week ranks and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, what you got? And it's like 10 points off of what a good rank is.
Yeah, it's not too different. It's not too different. I mean, there's some people in the 20s, there's some people in the 30s, and I'm sitting on 43, I think. But as well as that, I didn't take a hit this week. There's quite a few people that have taken hits around as well. Yeah. I think that obviously hasn't helped. And then the players that they've brought in, people, if you're doubling up on Chelsea defense, for example, and then they get smacked 3-0 by Leeds. I mean, that doesn't help when you're bringing in players like Cucurella. So yeah, I mean, it's been a tough week all round, but
everyone saying they got a bad week still has Salah cap. Like, I've not seen anyone go, "Oh, I've got 20 points and my captain's played." Like, it's ridiculous. Is you just stop being weird, mate. Like that's just what I just keep thinking when I scroll through my timeline. Is everyone so concerned that they've dropped a million or dropped this or dropped that? A goal, it happens off a single goal. You can go up or down 150, 200,000 points, a single big return on it. Like that's the whole nature of the opening few weeks. It's really volatile. We just keep playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to answer Mike in the chat, no, this is definitely purple and it's a Spurs shirt. So you're not getting away with that shade of burgundy bullshit today. No chance of that. No chance. No chance of that today. Yeah, so cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the games.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk a bit about, as you said, did you mention it before? A bit about game state. Oh no, that was while
no, we didn't get there, did we? We were trying to rush through so we can get through the games and have a bit of game state chat. Yeah. But I think if we can get into a bit of chat about, look, we got fixtures piling up. You know, I feel like it's a triple game week next week because it's 3 game weeks in like 7-8 calendar days. You know, that's
definitely
going to be really fun.
Yeah, and we've got things like now City with their stupid friendly this week. They actually don't have a midweek free now until the World Cup. Like that's it.
No.
They're playing every 3 days now until the World Cup. So that's going to have its own problems and its own issues as we encounter more and more pet roulette, etc. So we just got a super chat quickly in from Chintan. So he said, lads, it's late here, so I will sleep. I'll see you this tomorrow. I have Bailey and Neto on the bench with 2 transfers in the bank, 0.3 million. Ramsdale, Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Walker, Reece, Martinelli, Andreas, Salah, Cap, Jesus, and Haaland. Thank you and love you. There's no question there. You've just given us a super chat to read out your team, Chintan. So
see how it plays out later in the week, mate.
Salah, Cap. So can't complain. Can't be too bad. Can't be too bad. Bit tough on the City double defense, but me and you, we're in the same boat. So that's what it is.
We all are. Everyone's in the same boat. That's the thing. There's only like 1 or 2 different players for most teams. It really isn't that different.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the results. I mean, once again, guys, I'm going to apologise for Baker's lag. I say I'm sure it's on my side. I think I've been having issues with the internet all weekend, so I'll make sure that's sorted for next week. But we'll make our way through it. I promise. So
what are those results?
Yeah, they're the wrong ones, aren't they?
I was like, did that happen? I don't remember any of this happening.
No, that happened. There we go. Quick switch.
That happened. That happened for those at the screen. I was
switch.
Like, what? Got so confused about what games we're going to talk about.
Professional as
every
always,
week
mate.
we've talked about the last game first, haven't we? So
yeah,
do it again. Newcastle City.
Mate, what a game! What a game!
Exactly.
Like, just mental. Yeah, cool. Let's pull up the chart for that one. So, Big Bernardo taking all 3 bonus. Nice to see. Grass FC.
Why do they muck about with like maybe he goes, maybe he doesn't, when he's just like an unbelievable player? Like if you play him in centre midfield, he's brilliant. If you play him in one of the front 3 positions, he's brilliant. Like wherever you play him, he's just a brilliant player. Like that's it's silly just never playing him. Me and you talked about Erling Cap this week and whether we thought that was a good option. And my thoughts on the game beforehand were I either felt like this could be 5-0 City or Newcastle will get something out of it. I just never saw it being anything in between because it just felt like they've got no defensive midfielder. They just got to go and they'll try and do whatever they can. They transition so quickly. You know, St. Maximum's obviously helps out a lot, but Wilson, Almiron, like they had no fear. You know, considering they went most teams when they go 1-0 down against City, you think, well, that's that then.
Yeah. Normally,
here we go.
Normally, you'd say that, but I mean, I think Haaland had like 1.5 xG on his own today as well, though. That's just like,
yeah. I mean, anyone that did cap him they've got unlucky. They have got unlucky. I felt like some of the times as well, even like there was the ball that could have played him through that didn't quite get to him and stuff. It's almost like they're not that used to playing balls through the centre. Like they're used to the channel balls and stuff, but they're just not used to that many balls through the middle, and they've still got to try and work it out what's actually happening there.
Yeah.
It's not quite right, but
there's still so many avenues for them to create chances for him though, because he is like 6'6" or whatever he is, 6'4", 6'5" as well. I mean, they've got that additional option now that they didn't have in the past. Fine, Jesus isn't bad at heading the ball, but that's an additional thing that players like Cancelo and KDB will just feed off. And you could see Foden as well. You could see Foden looking for that early cross, and I think he had a couple where it went to the near post. Haaland wasn't there, but you can see that they're going to be looking for that again as well. That said, I thought Newcastle were really impressive. Like really impressive. So aggressive, and just didn't give them a second to think.
No.
Just the goal was a little bit of poor defending, but look, they've overloaded at the back post. Like both, was it Willock was in there as well? Willock and Almiron together. Like they were wanting to win the ball in key areas. And I think one thing about this game, I mean, the XG is just off the freaking chart. I don't think I've ever seen a game with this.
We nearly got 5 XG between them, didn't we?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, but all the goals bar Trippier's were pretty much in front of goal. So
yeah, they were. Gundo is continuing to. The thing with Gundo when he plays is that he's so clever at those forward runs, and they're so used to his forward runs that I think that sometimes it's easier for them to look for his forward runs than sometimes Erling's.
Yeah,
that's an issue for Erling. And actually Erling does a good job in that. For the Bernardo goal, same thing. Oh my word!
The way he pulled out Botman, like just genius, just really clever.
Yeah, he gets no points for it, but as a player in that team, he is just occupying someone all the time, and then looking at it all the time. And then people like KDB can just play balls through, and the good players like Bernardo, the good players like Gundo, they're just going to get chances.
Yeah,
all the time, all the time. I think you tweeted it, and literally I thought exactly the same thing. It was the same time as you tweeted that the next goal for Erling would be worth 7 points, and I mean, that's a biggie if you were capping him that big one. And that's because in a game when City play, inevitably 3 goals happen, like just in almost every game they play. So, and very often there's a clean as well. So therefore, if he doesn't get 2, he's not getting in the bonus.
Yeah. No, agreed.
But if he does get 2,
he's fine. I mean, even if we'll talk about negative impacts on bonus later. We've got another one to look at a little bit later on, I think, as well. But 2's enough that it should get him all 3 bonus.
Anyway. Oh yeah, if he gets 2, he gets 13. But it's almost like 6 or 13 is almost where he could eeasily sit in a lot of places.
Nothing in between.
Quite often what you're looking for with a striker is that if they score, they're going to get 9.
Yeah, true. And then
he's not that man.
True. On the other side, though, Wilson, I mean, gets another goal. I think we said a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying to you when I had him, was that he could probably score against anyone. Look sharp again today, good finish.
Wilson is basically Vardy now, isn't he? Like we always talked about Vardy getting old, but basically we've now got Wilson. He's a clinical finisher. He can score against anyone. He just looks to get in the box. And as long as his body holds together, he'll just tick away on points. And he is only, 7.5 million? 7.4, I think he went down this week. He's really good. But then there's lots of really good strikers, and but if there's good runs of fixtures, I mean, they're a much worse team if Chris Wood plays or someone like that up front, aren't they? It is their whole game is based on good movement, and Wilson's a good player. Trippier just showed he can get points against anyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So, well, I don't think we need to cover anything else. I mean, I guess there's talk about like what do we do with? I mean, the problem is the fixtures are so good; it's so difficult to get to go away from any of them. But could we go away from some of these assets and cover elsewhere potentially? I guess that's something to cover with game state more than anything, because I think we're going to be talking about a couple of positions where we might be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean the next two games are home to Palace and home to Forest. We're 4 days in between. You have to remember that we've got 4 days in between. Pep's made that comment tonight saying that basically when we play 3 games in a week, Erling's not going to play all of them.
Yeah, so let's just read that out, because read that out for anyone that doesn't know. So it says, I'll tell you now that when we have games every 3 days, Erling is not going to play every game. Julian is going to play. That's what he said. So that is something that we need to consider. Is he going to be a 0 or 90, 0 or 75 kind of man, or is he going to be, 75 then 20, 75 then 20, 75 then 20? Because that, I think if he's going to be 75 20, 75 20, I'm probably less inclined to want him. If he's 0 and 90, then fine, I'll take the guy that comes off the bench. You can probably manage him, and you're going to get like full whack from him in the games when he's going to play, because he knows he's getting a rest, like a full rest. So I don't know. We're not going to know. That's the thing. We're at that position. We said at the start of the season, we're there now with the European games coming up, is that we don't know anything actually. We think we do, but we actually don't know anything. So we'll just have to wait and see. And I guess people will take that gamble together. We'll all do it together as a big group. So we probably won't get hurt so much.
I think it is that part of do you be the first man to do it or not? And do you need to be? Because like you say, he's played 90 minutes in every game so far. So maybe he is going to be 90 or 0.
No, he hasn't.
Isn't he? I thought it was.
He was brought off last week without scoring. He was brought off in game week 1 before he scored his hat-trick.
That's a lot. It's because they made some kind of quote at the end of it about him getting 90 minutes, and he said he's got a really good bed in his apartment. And I was completely sucked in by what Pep said there. Did
he get 90 today though? I think he got 90 today because I think they were pushing for the winner.
He got 90 today.
Yeah,
maybe that's.
He was looking for a winner. The other 2 games were done. So Bournemouth and West Ham, they were done. So so when they're in control, that might be something anyway. When they're in control, he gets pulled because you need to rest him up. If it's a tough game, maybe stays and plays. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Where do we want to go next?
Moving on.
Andy's in the chat.
Let's go to the next ones. We've got Andy in the chat. Let's go to Leeds, Chelsea.
Andy. We'll do this because his game week's been terrible, so we might as well cheer him up a little bit.
Look at the size of that. I mean, Aronson won. I was really interested to see just how big a chance that was, because it's feels like it should be more than 1 XG.
So Scott, who does the stats for this, he tweeted out saying that it recorded as 0.98 XG on his
did it
on his model
0.98.
Yeah, so like 2% of the time, 2% of the time that he would have expected Aronson to like fall on his arse and just miss it or something like that, or I don't know what you'd expect, like Cat to run across the goal line. I don't know. Like how that isn't on.
Really incredible.
You're on 40 points, Andy. Oh Christ! Okay, you're having a good game week. Good work.
Good work.
And then joint 3rd in the league as well. Good work. So yeah, I didn't watch the first half of this because I was out doing stuff. But
well, I mean, we've talked about it. I've whinged about managers being arrogant or doing things, but it's not about this game, and this league offers no forgiveness. Chelsea can't have top 4 hopes and go into games with Conor Gallagher and Rubens Loftus-Cheek in centre midfield. Like, that's such a big downgrade on Kante and Reece James playing out on the right. It's such a big downgrade. Like,
no Jorginho, no Kovacic as well. It just feels like.
Well, but Jorginho is the only one that's capable of playing games anyway. Like we did it, at the start of the season on this. Is Kovacic is done? Just give it up. Kante will look like he's back, and then eventually miss the next game, and then miss a couple more games. Like, those players are not making the games for them.
No, okay.
they need a player that plays 2,000 plus minutes. Seriously need a player in centre midfield that plays those minutes, because it is Loftus Cheek. He's not good enough at right wing back, and he's not good enough when he plays centre midfield. And you might say, well, potentially you could get into the Leeds team, or Conor Gallagher did a really good job at Palace team. But the difference is they're playing for Chelsea. And the difference is that they're not playing in a system that's all about them and how they are. They're just coming in on it. And teams go, no, we're on this.
Yeah.
And they'll just take you down.
Yeah.
And this league, as I said, offers no prisoners. And it didn't. Is they need their best team on the pitch. They need to play Reece James at right wing back. We've said it a million times. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, as well as that, I mean, I think it was about 55 minutes in. They didn't make it like a double change and end up with no centre midfielders on the pitch at all.
I think Loftus Cheek then goes into centre midfield and all the rest of it.
Just a bit weird.
That's as much Chelsea chat as we said last week on a game against Tottenham. They won't do what they did against Tottenham against other teams. That's how they set up this. We still don't know what we're seeing from Chelsea at the moment. It is a bit of flux. Next week it's Leicester. You kind of expect the attack to start working next week, but will they concede against them?
Probably.
Who knows?
Well, probably.
Probably.
Get to that later.
But from a Chelsea perspective, I think we just very much still in the don't know camp.
Yeah.
From a Leeds perspective, I think we're getting there in terms of a what do we know place. And I know that there's a lot of Leeds fans that think Rodrigo potentially isn't in their top four, or their best front four. But he's leading that team. He gives him the armband. He trusts him.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't see a way.
No, I can't see it. I can't see how you can consider dropping or moving out or resting a player that's been as important as Rodrigo has been so far. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't say. I think there's a lot more, and I know that there's questions about his pressing and stuff like that, but the fact is he's scoring goals and driving the team to win games. like that's what you need. You need your striker to do that. You need your forward man to do that. You need goals and you need to win games. I mean,
he's just an over. The way that an early chance, which he sort of takes in his chest and puts across the face of the goal, and it's a chance like you only have a go at that sort of thing if you're on it. Like that's a chance that makes you, for me, go, oh, okay, this man means business. The header is just outstanding.
Yeah,
he's just on it. He's on it. Aronson is on it in the number 10 role as well. So it's like, why would you mess around with it? Jack Harrison's playing brilliant football.
Yeah,
out left wing. I think if Jack Harrison's 5.5, I'd be really interested in him. I'm not sure I'm 100% interested in him at 6, and he might go up anytime soon. I mean, he is.
I think he definitely. Punching. I mean, Harrison's 5.5. So he's on.
Aronson is Harrison.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if Aronson is 5.5, then do you need to consider Harrison at 6? I mean, especially if Rodrigo's 6'2".
Yeah, but I do think that Harrison kind of has that, because let's just say Bamford does come back in.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that Rodrigo and Aronson are playing for one place in that hole? Potentially. I mean, you hope that Daniel James is the one that moves out, probably on the right.
Yeah.
But it's whether they need those outlets. So I do think there is a conundrum that Bamford comes back and suddenly you've got one extra player from them. But Rodrigo at the moment, I think if anyone can get to him, just get to him. And
if you can get to him, you're going to make I'm looking at my team now and I'm like, oh, how do I get to him? Because I mean, if you're sitting on one or like Andy Martin for 8 million mids, like 4 seems easy to get to. But if you're sitting on 1 8 million mid, then you're pretty committed to that 8 million mid, and you're there so that you can move between 8 million mids. You're also sitting on Martinelli, and then you're also likely sitting on Salah, and then you're sitting on Bailey/Neto at plus 4.5. So unless you've got 0.6, 0.7 in the bank to go from Neto to Rodrigo, it's really hard to do it in one move. You can't do it in one move. So it's a really challenging conundrum. So I think if you're looking at a wild card, then yes, I think it's quite straightforward, right? You get him in. So, but getting to him otherwise, I mean, the only way I tinkered around earlier. The easiest way that I could do it is to take Haaland down, right? And it sounds ridiculous, right?
Yep.
In itself, but there's additional things that I can do with that money. There is. I mean, I can go Haaland to Mitrovic, and then, although his fixtures are terrible, but you could go Haaland to Mitrovic, and then I can get Rodrigo, and I can get Maddison, for example. So, it's, you got to think about how
Cancelo, I think, is one that is the cash cow that a lot of people might have to have a little think about.
Okay.
The issue is that if you went that, is like nobody's really that comfortable in not having any City defence. But if I had Ederson, for example, I think I would be considering whether I needed Cancelo.
You talking to me directly?
I'm not, but you do have that situation.
Yeah.
I think there's opportunities there where you could free some money up. If you wanted that extra player.
Yeah.
Anyone that doesn't have, for example, and if you wanted to play the value game this week, anybody that went, I'm going to go say Cancelo to Saliba and then have some extra money to do like my cheapie to Rodrigo is going to make loads of money. Do I think it's a good option again when we've got City at home to Palace and City at home to Forest? Probably not.
Yeah.
But do I think Cancelo starts all of these 3 games? Nah, I don't.
Like, you're thinking like Sergio Gomez is going to come in?
He said Sergio Gomez is ready.
Yeah.
Like, he's an option. We do have to think, and I think it's a bit weird that we're talking about Man City player when we're talking about a Leeds one, but I think there is that juggle at the moment of some of these players to get to them. It's who's your option to take out. But Leeds are in a good space.
Yep.
Certainly in an attacking front. And today they turned up in a defensive place. So all good.
All good. Where to next? Should we finish off Sunday?
Yeah, there's
not much to talk about from this one, I don't think. Well, I say that. I say not much to talk about, but we've got maybe a little bit of clarity on who's on pens for Brighton. We've seen them win again.
Yeah.
Right. They're playing really good football at the moment. They were obviously very unlucky last week, but they've basically dominated this game.
They're playing exceptional football, and that's going to be a really interesting game next week. Is that they're home to Leeds?
Yeah.
So we've got 2 teams: a team that's played brilliantly today, a team that's been playing brilliant in every game. That's a really fascinating encounter next weekend. Welbeck is just leading the line brilliantly. And talk about that 90-minute guy, but he is playing 90 minutes. When they've got other options, he's playing 90 minutes for them because he is just working so hard. I saw an interview of him last week and he was saying it like he's never felt sharp, but he still feels like he can skin anyone. And he's on it. Pascal Gross is like a modern day Rafa van der Vaart the way he plays. That's it. Kind of reminds me a little bit in the way that he's playing to watch him. That ball today was just sensational for Trossard.
Beautifully delicate.
So nice. But not on the pens is the interesting thing. McAllister, the bit I think just everyone has to remember is that he is not playing the role that he played last season. So he's playing a deep lying role, sort of the role that Adam Lallana played quite a bit last season. With Basuma gone, he's playing a deep lying role. He even talked about his deep lying role and how much he's enjoying it. And but he is on pens.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No.
Not for
I
me.
don't think for me as well. No, I don't think even consideration. I mean, it's interesting to see Trossard obviously score today. I mean, he finished the season well last year, and he's relatively picking up the same as he left off, and he was, they were pretty aggressive in how far forward those four were, that attacking four, like really far forward. So
Sanchez is on it. Couple of good saves.
Yeah.
Interesting one I thought on Sanchez, just one I would quite like to watch actually, was that he saved 2 set pieces on his line, and he's normally very, very proactive and comes for every set piece. So I don't know whether that's a tactical thing to try and stay more on his line and therefore potentially gets more saves, but maybe less recoveries. But yeah, I mean, at 4.5, he's a good keeper.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
If you want a Leicester, if you had Leicester keepers right now, you just find a way for that. 500,000.
Yeah,
Sanchez, just get it done.
Just get away from Leicester.
I can't believe that I saw loads of people that went. There was loads of people that had Sanchez and Ward, and went Ward this week.
Madness. It's like
madness.
Should we go there?
Yeah, let's just talk about Leicester.
Say the line, Baker.
Leicester games always start 1-1.
They start 1-1. They always start 1-1. And hilariously, you text me yesterday, and it was 1-0 to Leicester, and you went, mate, it'd be really helpful if Southampton scored soon, because we're expected to happen. I think it was about 90 seconds later, Shay Adams popped up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Leicester games always start 1-1.
What is he doing with his game management?
I don't know. like literally, so let's just analyze these substitutions quickly, because he's managed himself out of a win again, somehow. I mean, it's funny because
what is he actually doing?
It's ridiculous because it's funny as well, because like yesterday I sent a little poll out. I was like, who's going to be the first manager to be sacked? It's going to be Lampard, Gerrard, and I put Ten Hag on there just because, yeah. And then like I got like 3 or 4 replies below, like within a minute. It was like Rodgers. I was like, oh shit, yeah. He's literally managing himself out of a job at the moment. So yeah, it was 1-0 up, and then took out Vardy and Perez and brought in Tielemans and Daka. And
straight after he scored as well. It's not like he went 1-0 up in the first half. He'd just gone 1-0 up.
Yeah.
So he just got the lead. They're going to go at them. They're going to try and start making some substitutions. So he's like, I could just wait for them to make the substitutions, and then I'll react to what they do.
Well, I mean,
I could just wait.
Ralph did bring on Shay Adams before that happened. But yes.
He made one substitution, but it's no system change.
Yeah.
Just a straight one substitution. So, but eventually he's going to have to do something to change. But Brodge don't wait, mate. He just goes at 65 minutes. I think I'll bring on Patson Daka and Yuri Tillmans. Why not?
It's funny because I'm sure. I don't want to make this about this bit about Tottenham, obviously, but we used to see that under like Mourinho and stuff. He used to just like wait for other managers to do stuff, even if we were losing. And I don't know whether he thought that they were going to change themselves out of a winning position, but it never seemed to work for us. I mean,
it's the flat line on this graph that's cracking me up. It's literally he made
nothing.
The substitutions and they didn't touch the ball again. Just didn't touch the ball.
Oh, man.
Like, you've gone 1-0 up. That's your lot. That is your lot.
Yeah.
I mean, how is Maddison still getting all these returns when they're not doing any? Like, I don't even know how they get into 1-1 because they had 0.3 XG in this game.
Yeah. Well, they literally. I mean, what was the? I don't recall what that first chance was. Actually, I can't think who that was. But I mean, obviously, Maddison's free kick was next to nothing XG, so that would have been that would have been that quite simply. But I mean, I'm gonna say
JWP ticking along with another 2 bonus of an assist.
just need to bring him in, mate. You can't time his returns. You just need to bring him in.
He does tick away, mate.
It
Oh
was.
God,
It might have been Harvey
Gross.
Barnes going across the goal in the first
Yeah,
half.
it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Good point. Yeah, they Vardy tried to get a pen, didn't he, early on, and then the Harvey Barnes. Yeah. That was the first half jobs. But
Shay Adams potential option.
No, not because he didn't start the game, and that Mara. I mean, it won't show register on there because it was offside. But the goal he scored that was then it was miles offside, like it wasn't even close. But it was a good finish. Was a good finish. But he just looks a bit silky, you know. Is
we spoke about the pass last week, didn't we, as well? So
yeah. He looks like that kind of guy he is. But in the end, they all they needed was a guy to go up there and just cause havoc, and Adams went up there and done him. So
fair enough.
Good on them.
So Maddison,
Rodgers.
Maddison, though, can we trust Maddison? Do we have to think about Maddison with Europe coming up for everybody else? Do we have to consider him as a serious option?
I guess the beauty of Maddison is that they're always going to concede. So hopefully,
so the defenders
he always gets a chance his arm. But I mean, I don't know what they'd have to do with it. Or what I want to see is what these charts look like if Leicester go behind. So they've got Arsenal next week, and I think Arsenal this week. No, Arsenal last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, Arsenal last week.
Who was it? Leicester have got Chelsea next week.
Oh, Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea next week. I'd like to see how Rodgers does if Chelsea go ahead. I think that then tells us a little bit about when they have to chase the game. Does it get interested? Because at the moment, it just looks like you just wait for Rodgers to mess it up.
Yeah.
But Maddison just keeps scoring. But if you always give away 2 goals, and one of those is at least to a striker, makes it a lot harder for him in the bonus, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because other teams just come flying past him. Yeah.
Right, Mike, if you're about, we're talking now. We'll do it now.
Let's do Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like game was over in 10 minutes. That game was literally over in 10 minutes, and I think, you know, Scott Parker said that, you know, we like first half. I mean, it's clear from here. First half, absolutely nothing. I'm going to put my FPL head on here, and this is going to get clipped the shit out of. But I was fuming that Jesus offside, like genuinely fuming. As at 3-0, you just accept that it's happened, right? So you just accept that it's happened. Like they had to zoom in like 5 times, and I'm like, well, you can't see the guy's back foot, so how the hell can you determine whether it's onside or offside from that? Don't give me that bullshit. Just give it. Fuming.
For anyone who's not aware, Adam captained
Jesus. Fuming
this week.
Because for all the right reasons.
I genuinely thought you'd gone from an offside goal, like goal being ruled out to him then going straight off the pitch, and I was like, oh no.
You saw Nketiah, yeah. I saw Nketiah there, and because I'd walked through. I wasn't watching at that time, and I think I just
Smith Rowe as well, wasn't there? Yeah. So I thought, oh, it'll be Martinelli and Jesus comes off, but no, you got away with it. Martinelli just ticks along. I think it is what it is. Massive dilemma for those with Saka now. Just a huge dilemma, because if you've got him and you haven't got Martinelli, well, you need to get Martinelli. We've been saying that for a little while now.
Yeah.
But home to Fulham this next week.
Yeah.
That's a hard gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a hard gig, transferring a man out like Saka, who none of us don't believe in the player. Everyone believes in the player. We just believe that he is almost even weirder. We've said him playing right wing back, but White got over him a few times. Actually, on the overlap, White did actually get up there a few times. It just feels like considerably the not the best asset and he's the most expensive out of those midfield lot. He was, joint most expensive out of the lot.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at. the stats from. We'll get to Fulham Brentford in a minute, but I'm just having a look at the stats down that Brentford, or the way that Brentford attacked Fulham, and they were more pertinent down the left-hand side than they were down the right. So, I think if Arsenal take that information to hand, then you'll find that we go again, with Arsenal focusing on that left-hand side attack, and Jesus for the first goal. It's annoying to say it because I say it as if he's a Man City player. I'm trying to, but the way he took the ball down and beat like 5 players was ridiculous. It's just genuinely ridiculous.
We know what you're saying, mate. We know what you're saying. I would, while we're just doing this, we're going to talk well of Arsenal players. I was so impressed with Gabriel at the back. I owned Gabriel for quite a bit last season, and I owned him just for the hopefulness of a big header at the back, but never really thought huge things of him in defence. I've noticed it a few times now, and I really noticed on the weekend his leadership, the way that he is marshalling that defence. He headed 2 off the line off corners where they were trying to swing him all in at Ramsdale.
Yeah.
He absolutely is making such a difference to them at the back, and that concerns me a little bit actually as a Ramsdale owner, because he's got them so well marshaled, Gabriel. He's protecting them so well that the ball's not getting to Ramsdale. It's not getting there. So actually, he's gone from being a keeper that could be a 10 points at any time to
6 points.
I don't see a time where he out baselines Gabriel. I don't see a time where he out baselines Zinchenko. And then you've got the attacking assets.
Yeah. That's the problem, is the attacking assets are starting to fire all over the place, apart from Saka. Right. So the Martinelli will always pick up. We expect Jesus to get returns. So when he scores, it's 24 points. So then you just unless you're missing big chances for fun, then you're going to be in and around it.
Saliba will get all the credit because obviously he scored the goal.
Yeah.
It's his second career goal. We just need to keep that in mind. It's his second career goal.
Yeah. And it was. It must have been an XG of about 0.05 or something like that. It was a nothing. It was a good finish, basically.
He'll probably be 4.7 come next week, and he'll probably end up being 4.8 before we know it. So as they get closer over the season, I would expect Gabriel to considerably outscore Saliba, just because I think he'll be in the bonus conversation every game. He would have been ahead of him on the baseline again this week. 29 was his score for this week. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. If Saliba doesn't score, he wouldn't have got any bonus at all.
Yeah.
So just remember that sort of thing won't happen every week, but he's the big reason why that defense is operating so well.
So there's a couple of little things in here about Xhaka and Odegaard, right? So interestingly, I had Odegaard in a few drafts actually before the season started, and I'll take that as my claim to I would have had these points, but definitely looks like he's adding something to his game, Odegaard. Xhaka is obviously being pushed further forward, as you mentioned before, with Zinchenko, supporting him. So he's in and around that area, and obviously he got the assist because he did. But do you think either of those could potentially be options, or do we think that there are just better options elsewhere in Arsenal? You think you'd rather go at the back?
Even with Bournemouth, even in the last 5 minutes, so you captain Jesus, yeah? They were 3-0 up. Did you watch the last 5 minutes?
This game?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So I did watch the last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes, Jesus was still tracking out on the right wing and was, he was grinding that wing, but defensively. Like, they are still a defensive team. wherever possible. Even when they're 3-0 up, they want that clean sheet. They want it so bad. Like, I think it's mad not to have a defensive asset from this team.
Okay.
And then Jesus and Martinelli are just cheap as chips. So
yeah,
why would you not?
So then, I mean, Saliba did get 2 bonus in the first game. If you recall.
He's an absolute steal. Like, and we all need to make money. Like, if I was wildcarding tomorrow, I would. But he's 4.6 now. If you're not bringing him in this week, he's going to be 4.8 by the time it comes round.
Yeah, true.
If it gets to 0.2 between him and Gabriel, I'm on Gabriel all day long. If I was doing it today, the transfer, you'd bring Saliba in because he's 4.6.
Fair enough.
But there's a difference between the FPL asset and what we're seeing in the play. The reason why they're a good defense is Gabriel. He is the best defender in that team, and he absolutely leads it. If you can't see the way he's shouting at them and marshalling it, and at some point, White will play a game at centre defence and Tomiyasu will play a game at right back. Gabriel will never miss a game.
Yeah. Fair enough. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Cool. Just before we do that, we've got over 200 of you in here tonight on YouTube. So thank you very much for joining us. If you are enjoying what we're doing, please do make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button, and you'll see, when we're going live and all that good stuff. So, moving on.
Good.
Where do you want to go? Well, we might as well. Let's just go. Let's just fire through. Let's go Fulham.
Yeah, good game.
Good game. Some bench points here for many. For a lot of people, it's like Andreas became the asset that we were expecting him to be at 4.5. And I can't remember where I heard this. I heard this somewhere, but someone was saying if he had been a Fulham player when they released the game, he'd have been a £6 million midfielder. Like,
yeah. He is.
So
yeah.
He's definitely, like, his ability on set pieces is crazy. He's on all of them as well. So, yeah. But I mean, the star of the show still feels like Mitrovic.
Well, it's just absurd.
So just for reference, if anybody doesn't know, Mitrovic had a baseline of -13, which sounds stupid, right? It sounds terrible, but at the same time, you flip that on its head. Like, the amount of chances that were just drawn to him, and the fact that Raya had an absolute worldie in my opinion with some of the saves that he made. I'd rather have Mitrovic missing those chances than not, because one return is fine, you get the 4 points, but if on another day that becomes like 3 returns, 4 returns, right?
Like, Raya's got some mad technique, isn't he? Like, he's like Hugo in his prime. Like, is in the way that he saves hands first, is what I say. Is Lloris, one of the things that can be annoying for us as Tottenham fans is that he never gets his body behind the ball. He tries to go his wrist. Raya does something similar, but his wrists are strong as you like. And like that one from the header, like, how does he? Most people, the keeper's just sort of standing there, doesn't move. Some phenomenal saves. And Mitro mentioned it at the end, like, he felt like, what have I got to do to get past you? Yeah, I mean, you always know that Mitro's going to get shots. If we go back in any season when he's been in this league, whether he's scoring or he's not scoring, he gets shots. But he is comfortably getting more shots than anybody else in the entire league. And will he ever stop? I'm not sure.
Yeah, 3.6 XG so far this season.
15 shots, 15 shots. I think 3.76, I think it's the XG.
Crazy.
He's had 14 shots of his 15 are in the box.
Yeah.
8 on target. Like, the only man anywhere near him is Rodrigo.
Yeah. Yeah. But the real challenge, though, and as much as I'd say he's potentially fixture proof, I think you're going to get a lot more from him at home than you are away.
Yeah,
that's probably one thing. And he's got to go to Arsenal next week. Then he's at home to Brighton. Then he's away at Spurs, and then he's home to Chelsea. I mean, those 4 games just feel bad, man. I mean, I think whatever happens, I mean, he's going to be in my team by game week 8. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that I'll have him for that Forest game. Like, there's no point in not having him at all. And I don't care at that point if he's like, I mean, if he's what, I don't even know what his ownership is at the moment, 15, 16% or whatever. But if he's 25, 30% at that point, then okay, I'll take it. You know,
Yep.
I think you just have to have him at that point, and then he'll be good until the World Cup, until the World Cup, easy. But
the beauty is what he then offers to Andreas, because when you think about like Southampton with the Ings and Ward-Prowse season.
Yeah.
So you had Ings, who was the target man, banged in wherever he scored 18, 20 goals, wherever he scored, and took the pens most of the time in that season. And Ward-Prowse still knocked in 150 points. And the way he did was that he was continually feeding 3 to 4 chances every single game. So if they were big chances, he got 3 on his baseline for his, and if they were small chances, which is just the stupid looping headers and all sorts of stuff where he just gets anything off it, then he was getting 1 point on his baseline, and he'd get enough that if he got even 1 assist, he could often turn in a 7-8 pointer. Yeah. Hey, guess what we saw on the weekend? We could have a baby Ward-Prowse here in that he's 4.5. Will you necessarily guess his returns right? No, because he takes really good set pieces, which can happen in any game. I'm pretty sure he's got the banger in him as well to be able to hit some those ones. He's taking free kicks. Like, I think he's going to be quite unpredictable, but maybe we, don't have to have Ward-Prowse in our team because we can have one that's 2 million cheaper, and we just have to hope we get lucky.
I like that. I think he'll spend a lot of time on the bench.
That's probably what I think. Yeah, and I think he will. But maybe those games where we don't buy Mitrovic, we can just look at him and go, I'll have him instead. I'll just put him in, because chances are if Mitrovic scores, maybe I'll have the assister.
Yeah, there's a question. There's a question in about, is Tony not better with the Mitro with the fixtures? Yes, absolutely. That was the point I was making to Baker earlier on.
Yeah.
Yes, there is that, and I think we do need to talk about Tony obviously as well. He was unlucky with the first one, like his kneecap was offside or whatever, and then obviously got his goal as well. I mean, Tony's fixtures are much better. He has Everton at home, then Palace away, Leeds at home, Southampton away, and then game week 8 he's got Arsenal, but then he's got Bournemouth away in game week 9. So,
and both of these guys, no Europe, talisman of the team,
90 minutes every week.
Nobody's coming for their place. They're playing 90 minutes every week. Yeah, they're both really good options. Like you say, Tony, short term, home to Everton. Do I expect him to bully them? Yes. Palace away, don't know. But then home to Leeds as well in 6. So in a good calendar week, and then away to Southampton. They're just brilliant fixtures for 7.
Yeah.
Very, very jealous of anybody else that has Ivan Toney, which is you, mate.
Yeah.
But
so Wilson for him.
There's a cost, isn't there? There's a cost. So you don't have an 8 million midfielder. Correct. So it's a case of it's all good having him, but what do you go without? And that's the bit we got to keep coming back to, is you're going to have to do something. So you either have to lose an £8 million midfielder, or you have to lose a Cancelo. There's really no other way of getting to him.
Yeah. True. Unless you lose the Haaland. Which is an even bigger gamble. Because I mean, as I say, I've been thinking about like the Jesus, Mitrovic, Tony treble up, and I think that's perfectly viable. I really think it is.
I mean, we're just talking about these strikers: Tony, Mitrovic, Jesus,
Wilson. Like,
you can live in that world.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun this season because last year we weren't looking at them at all. And I did some stupid. I mean, yes, it was stupid, but I did a quick look at like the top 100 teams, and looked at anybody who hadn't played a chip, because anybody who has played a chip, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't count. And like loads of these teams have 3 up top at the moment, 3 playing forwards.
Well, they're scoring points,
and then that's why they're in the top 100, etc. But yes, it's clearly a viable strategy. to use that. But they will be sacrificing elsewhere.
When we did our start the season thing, strikers at the start of the season, number 9s, this is their best period in the entire season. Is strikers tend to start fast. There's something about that hungerness that you could get the golden boot. You want to keep going. It's the thinking back, the Phillips, the Coles of this world. You didn't need to always be in the best team to get that golden boot. You can get running and keep going.
Yeah, and
something about it that number 9s are a good option.
They have to get going quickly though. That's the thing about a striker. Like the whole point of a game of football is to win games. To win games, you need to score goals. So the whole point of the striker is there to score goals. If a striker doesn't get a goal in his first 3 or 4 games, I mean that's a tough little thing to break. Like it's a mental block. So yeah, 3 or 4 games in. I mean, if you're looking at strikers that haven't scored in their first 3 or 4 or 5 games, I would be leaving them well alone. Unfortunately, we've got strikers that are just scoring goals now. That's good.
Yeah, we have.
So that's good. There's a quick question here. I'm just going to highlight this one question. So Chris Wood says, anyone you're thinking of using triple captain next week? Double game week, Salah, Bournemouth, Newcastle at home. Chris, I think you're getting that confused because the games are actually midweek. The game weeks are actually split. So they will be separate game weeks. So you'll only get one game from Salah against Bournemouth, and then you'll get the Newcastle game in a separate game week. So don't jump the gun on your triple captainship, mate.
Don't do that. But we did look earlier, and 11% of the entire game have already played their triple captain.
Yeah.
So again, for people, when you're looking at your rank and doing all these things, like 1 million people have used their triple captain already.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt,
1 million people.
That is a bizarre world we're in.
We're almost at an hour, mate. We haven't even touched Tottenham yet, so we probably need to get a bit moving.
Well, we got some more talisman to go. So can we do Palace Everton?
Well, or Palace Villa? Would that be better?
Palace Villa would be better.
Cool.
I was looking down at the wrong place because where do we find room for these guys? So Will Zaha, look.
Oh my God. He's something like the 3rd highest goal scorer in 2022 or something like that.
Finishing really well.
Behind Son and Salah. And finishing really well. Yeah, agreed.
And not going to miss a game.
No Europe. We'll go there again.
No Europe.
Man.
How can the man that's the 3rd highest scorer only be 7 million quid?
It's nuts.
And a midfielder.
Yeah. So he gets extra points. He does need to take better penalties.
He's terrible at penalties. Do you know what? That fact that he's so bad at penalties puts me off him a little bit. And he shouldn't.
Because you think, because you don't tend to bring in players because of them getting penalties. So why would the other way around?
It does almost when someone's not a very good penalty taker. It bothers me. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one of the worst things as being an FPL manager. I always think is that moment when there's a penalty and they're about to take. You're like, it's just horrid. It just feels like such a swing. And I think there is something subconsciously in me that says, I don't like the fact that Zaha's bad at them, but you can't deny what he's doing. Like, even with missing a penalty, he still gets top bonus now because he's scoring 2 goals. He's fire, mate.
Yeah. And that, I mean, if you look at that, I mean, I think the 3rd goal, whilst it's not, well, Zaha was involved in part of that 3rd goal, but I think that just plays to how well Palace are playing, how confident Palace are playing as well. That ball in from Mitchell from Mateta was just ridiculous. Early, perfect. And just the whole build up for that goal was pretty special. That said, I mean, well, let's talk about the positives from Villa. Was basically the first 5 minutes, and that was about it. Good movement, and Watkins has found the back of the net, which is good for him.
Yeah, it is good. Watkins is he's just such a very willing player. I mean, he's a good player. Yeah, he is what he is, but we're not going there. Not when what the players that we've already just talked about. We're not going there. We don't trust Villa enough.
No, that's fair enough.
But and we shouldn't look at the XG of this this game really because it gets manipulated by a missed penalty.
Well, does it?
Does it? It looks like
I'm
it.
just looking at it here because the penalty and the goal itself takes it from 0.8 to 1.7.
Oh,
So
that's about right.
So there's not much on it.
Right.
There's not much on it, given that the 0.75.
It's still big, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's still big.
Yeah.
Any game with a penalty, it immediately has such a big noise on it.
Yeah.
As we love the bonus, as a no return this week, 29 on the bonus.
Mental.
I think that might be the highest baseline I've ever seen.
That's just insane. Insane.
Pretty big chances created, dribble past, because he dribbles past like 6 people, gets like a point every time he dribbles past someone. Just, 3 normal key passes, 3 big chances created, 5.5, bit of end product, and we're in. But you just look at it and say, I want the 7 million. I want Zaha.
Yeah.
I want to try and find a way into them. They've got City next, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're away in City, but their home game to Brentford in game week 5, because what we should mention is that Brentford defensively were pretty bad. Like Raya really stopped it from being 5-6 goals for them. I'm very interested in that game week 5 and Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah,
got to try and find a way to do it, mate.
Dan is saying, I want Zaha in this week for Mount, but I'd have to take a -4 because I want rid of one of my Leicester keepers as well. Worth it. I think I would probably stagger that because bringing Zaha in for the City game, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And a shout out to DaddyBot, who's now in the chat as well. He recently joined as a YouTube member. Thank you very much to you, DaddyBot. Is there a place to track ongoing baseline bonus points? In terms of ongoing, during the game, no, because you get all the actions in there as well, but you can have a look at the baseline numbers. We look at Fantasy Football Scout for that. It's
Fantasy Football Scout have really good things about
the positives,
why it went on, and what comes off,
and the negatives.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think all of the sites have the data, but Fantasy Football Scout, I think, is probably the easiest one to use.
So Zaha,
what we've got left?
Yeah, so
Zaha, we've got to find a way, mate.
Find a way. Oh man, we need big squads. Everton Forest. I mean,
quite frankly, like if we really look at it, it's just a terrible game.
Yeah.
You take out that end couple of scramble minutes and that big chance for Gordon, the big chance for Gray at the end, and you're looking at a game which had about half an XG between them, or each even, but it's rank, mate.
Yes, it's not great. I mean, Nico Williams did have 3 shots, 2 key passes, which is good for 4 million. Just about whether you can get him in.
Yeah, I saw.
There was a tweet. There was a tweet. So I think it was Bakar that sent that out, and it was like, "This is all the great stuff." And someone decided to then quote tweet it and go, "Yeah, well, they're 20th for XGC, they're 20th for shots conceded, they're 20th for goals conceded, they're 20th for absolutely everything defensively." So cool, just keep him on your bench. Like, don't do what I did and play him. Although actually,
I played him.
Well, yeah, but if there was a game to play him, it was this one. And he very nearly got away with like 9 points or something. So, because he would,
it will happen.
It would have been.
He
would
will
have been up
get
there.
a 15 pointer on your bench at some point. It will happen. But
cool. Move on. Cool.
Us.
Yep, we're the last ones. I don't think we've missed anyone. We've done that. Yeah. This is the last one.
It took a bit of time to get going, didn't it?
It took us a little bit of time. Like we just literally, it was a really poor first half. It was a really poor first half. I wasn't particularly concerned about it in the sense that, it was just a bad first half. And like they created that Guedes. Is it who had the chance? Was it Nunes or was it Guedes? I think it was Nunes, wasn't it? That the header was wide.
Nunes.
I mean,
Nunes and Guedes were both.
They were very good actually for their first game as well. I mean, they looked like they settled in quite well, which is, it's easy when like the rest of your team's Portuguese, I guess.
Yeah. I guess so.
Makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, we said at the start of the season about this set piece coach that we've brought in, and it's clearly paid dividends.
Oh, the movement is miles better. I think there's a bit of personnel though as well, in that we had our best defender at set pieces. So Davinson Sanchez, actually at both ends of the pitch,
Yeah,
is easily our best defender. So we've conceded goals in set pieces so far this season. Davinson Sanchez makes a massive difference to that when he plays.
Yeah.
And when he's up top, he causes absolute havoc. So I wasn't concerned about Sanchez coming in at all, because the set piece threat at both ends is so good. So good. You know, obviously he doesn't offer you the progressive movement and the passing and all of just the drive that you get off Romero, but
yeah.
in terms of clean sheets,
the
he's
Rolls Royce element, the control on the ball and all that, and the composure. I guess you don't get that, which is obviously clear. But
no,
you know
what we got Big Daddy Perisic. I mean, it's interesting that second half in the way that we played and what we're playing, and that's and we are now playing 4-2-4. We said it last week, but we did it again. So Davies goes to left back, Emerson Royal stays at right back, 2 centre backs, and then 2 centre midfielders, and then Perisic was as far forward as Kulusevski, and then you've got 2 up top. And if I'm a Son owner right now,
I'll be moving him on.
Yeah, just get it gone, because it's a matter of time before Richarlison starts a game.
Yeah, I don't think we're that far away from it, to be fair.
No,
it could be this week or next. Where I think he.
Well, it will be one of those games. I think
it has to be. 3 games. Well, it has to be. I mean, admittedly, we thought he would start better than this himself, but yeah, he started badly, and last week didn't help.
And Richarlison's playing really well.
Yeah,
really well.
There's a bit of difference between coming on with 20 minutes to go when the legs are a bit more tired, and but Conte needs to see that from Richarlison from the start to see what he gets as well, differently to what potentially, because I think between us we're in agreement it's going to be Son that's going to be the one.
Yeah.
I don't think we can see.
Great.
Kulusevski's been brilliant. Again, Richarlison plays more off the left than he does off the right anyway.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, could you see a situation where Son moves further to the right? I guess no, because that would just provide us with no balance, because Perisic is going to be the one driving. That would only really work if we had like Ben Davies playing on the left wing backy type position. You had Matt Doherty, which is a bit too much change. I guess only injuries would really drive that.
I don't see it.
Yeah,
but Richie is deserving a go right now.
Yeah.
Now, look, Son is what Son is. He's a world-class player. He's gonna play games. If he turns up on the team sheet any week, we're not going to go, oh damn it, that Son's playing a game. That's not going to happen. But it feels like, why not give him what Richarlison had, which is 20-30 minutes against tired legs. Why not give him the opportunity to? I mean, if he gets 30 minutes against Forest after they've played 60, you've seen at the end of the game what they let into Gordon and Gray.
Yeah.
Let him have that. Get him back into the game that way.
Yeah. And again, it's about,
set
I was saying
pieces
earlier,
is big.
Like those scoring those goals is a big confidence thing. He hasn't scored yet. So, once and we've said this since like the 5th or 6th pod, when our boy Jack, he said that Son has these streaky moments, right, where he'll just disappear for 8 games. Yeah. So maybe this is one of his periods where he just does that, and he needs that goal to just to get the monkey off his back, and then he'll progress. Absolutely. But right now that's not. We need to be in a space where we don't let our foot off the gas, because if we want to be in amongst the conversations with the Liverpool and the Cities and be up there with the Chelsea and now the Arsenal coming up this season as well, if we want to be in that conversation later on in the season, we can't afford to drop points, right? Liverpool are already looking at it and going, shit, we've dropped points. Like they're Like they lose tomorrow, they're behind Man U. Like that. How stupid does that sound? But
That no, but this, I keep saying it. So the start of this game, this league is unforgiving. You've all got to go for it every game, and you play the best team you can. And 5 subs enables you to play the best team a lot more than people think it does. It is at the moment, So like Perisic, the man on our screen right now, if he can keep playing him and just vary the substitutions,
yeah,
I think he will. I don't think it. He talked up how well Sessegnon did when he came on. I think that's a sweetener, mate. I think that's if I can play Perisic every game and bring you off 20 minutes to say how magnificent you are, I'll do it.
yeah. You know what? You know what's interesting as well is that he's spoken a lot about players around the squad and the World Cup, and he's been talking about like players wanting game time to go to the World Cup, etc. I don't think he's got that risk with Sessegnon. He obviously doesn't have that risk with Sessegnon at all. But I think Sessegnon will just learn because I think Ryan knows that if he stays as Perisic's understudy for a year and a half, 2 years, then he's going to be a brilliant player at the age of 24.
Yeah, we just signed another left wing back. What does that mean next season?
Apart from Destiny, yeah. Destiny's our destiny and all that sort of stuff. But yes,
yeah,
we'll have 2 of them. We'll have 2 of them.
I think Perisic, if he's fit, I think Perisic will play every game he can play. I don't think it's the rotation risk that people think it is. Saying that, he was sort of limping when he walked off, and he was limping when he came back on the pitch at the end of the game. So it isn't to be aware of. And
I didn't notice
the other thing I'd probably be aware of, is that we've had leaks now for Tottenham every single game. As in, we've had reliable ones.
We've had the correct
accounts
have
told us,
lineups,
and they've been correct. The interesting one for this weekend is that Tottenham is the last game of the game week, so I'm not sure we're going to get it.
Yeah,
but we might. It's a Sunday 4:30 game. Yeah. We might get something Saturday morning. Yeah. If you didn't have Perisic, would you bring him in this week?
I think it's really difficult not to have him. And you can say that I've got bias on that, fine, but I think it's really difficult not to have him. I really do.
Yeah. You just think he could do what you feel like what he did there is almost can be a minimum at times, because Son had a really good chance to play him in and didn't, and he had a chance where he could have gone for it and
he decided to pass. Yeah, I remember that. I think again on the bonus side of things as well. I mean, if you look at the other side of the pitch, Emerson Royale, he picked up bonus as well, did he not? Picked up 2.
He didn't in the end. He was right up there, and then somehow dropped away. Yeah.
But just expect the fullbacks or the wing backs to get all the bonus basically, and Kane only takes that if he gets 2 goals.
Yeah, and Kane just wants goals, mate. He does want goals.
Yeah. Would you bring in Perisic for James?
No.
Even with the Koulibaly sending off? You're just guaranteeing right centre back against a Leicester that's going to score.
I feel like James is still. I feel like you can set and forget him to an extent.
Fair enough. Cool. Okay, cool. Still that's the Tottenham love-in done. Somebody asked earlier on, can we show our teams? Yes, absolutely we can, but we're more on a forward-looking lens for next week. So just to sort of how our teams are sitting at the moment. Although actually someone's just asked Cucurella or Perisic. I mean, I'd have Perisic.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll just get that out there. So, yeah, I'm in this weird spot where I could do everything from roll to wildcard here, because there's all sorts of moves, because I don't have that that 8 million midfielder slot.
Yeah.
Which concerns me a bit. The Maddison thing sounds fun. There's definitely strikers I think that will get goals that will not match Haaland over the period of the season, but over the period between now and the wild card, feels like potentially you could do. But then again, it's a kind of a fixtures play really, because Mitrovic, as I've said, Mitrovic's fixtures are so bad on paper that it's a really tough sell to go from Haaland to Mitrovic, and then but that could get me, it can get me like Bailey and Andreas, or Bailey and Longstaff become Maddison and Rodrigo like easily, and then I get Mitrovic. It feels like a really strong move, and it feels really aggressive, and I do like it, but I just don't think it's worth 8 points, which is why I'm sort of tempted by wildcard. And I'm not so. I mean, I don't necessarily need to, because if I did that though, I'd also move off like double City defense probably, and I'd probably come down to 1. So there is stuff, but if you look at my team now, I've got 11 players playing at home. Like my weakest on paper player is Leon Bailey against a West Ham team that haven't scored yet. Right, West Ham are bad. Let's just put that out there. You said it last week. Should we be worried? I think should they be worried? I think they should be. Like, I don't think Bailey did himself any harm this week, getting himself on.
No, he could have scored as well.
Could have scored, hit the bar, everything. So he's in and around it, and I think that team. Oh no, I haven't got 11 at home because I've got Perisic away at Forest, but I think I've got 0.9 in the bank as well here.
Have you? So I've got a bit of money. So
I could do a Bailey to Aronson, Bailey to Aronson. I couldn't get to Harrison, but I can do to Aronson.
Yeah, I do not hate that. For the audio ones, we both have exactly the same back four. So we've got Trent, Cancelo, James, Perisic.
Yeah.
We've both got Salah. We've got Martinelli. We've both currently got Jesus and Haaland. And then the peripheral bits that sit around it is that, I've got Luis Diaz, Neto, and Ramsdale, and you've got Tony, Bailey, Edison.
Yeah.
And that's it. Most of us have got like 8 of the same.
Yeah.
And that is the game we're in right now. And it is that place of who's going to crack first, who's going to move away from this template, because most of us have got like 8 of the same players, or at least 7 of the same players. It could be the time. It's the forwards we've talked about today. I'm really excited about lots of them. I do think City could be the one that we want to move away from.
Which sounds bizarre given that they've scored so many goals.
Correct. And that's where it gets really difficult, because you say, yes, we want to move away from them. And then I go, right, total points. Second, De Bruyne. And then we go 6th total points, Haaland. We got 9th total points so far, Gundogan. Like, these are players. And then you look at their fixtures and they're absurd. And so that's the danger.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want to be the first person to move off them or not? And the answer's probably no.
Mate, but if anyone's going to do it at me and you, though, if anyone's going to do it at me and you,
if anyone's going to do it, it's probably you.
It's going to be me. Yeah,
probably me and you. On my side, like I've got 2 free transfers here, and my obvious one that I don't really like at the moment is Neto, but Neto's home to Newcastle. I do like the 2 new guys that Wolves have brought in. I do think they could make a difference to them attacking wise. What that means for Neto, whether that means that he actually doesn't play as much, or whether it means that he's actually got better people to play to, I don't know at this point in time. And that part of me says I'd like to see that another week and see how it works.
Yeah.
And the other thing is he's 5.4, and I've got no money in the bank, so I can't get any of the 5.5s.
Yeah.
So I'm in a really awkward situation here where I don't exactly know where I should move some money to. I am half tempted to do Cancelo and Ramsdale and switch them to Edison and Saliba, Edison and Gabriel, and still have a City defender, still have an Arsenal defender, but actually have 2 million quid
Would you then do something like leave Neto where he is for one game? Because he's going to be playing on the right rather than the left, right? And then maybe go like Neto to Zaha in 5.
That's exactly what I could do.
Yeah.
I'd have the money to go Neto to Zaha in. Yeah, I'd have to. The problem is Zaha will probably go up 0.2 in this time.
Yeah.
But that is definitely a possibility, is that I could just switch those around and have the funds that I could then go Neto to Zaha.
Yeah.
Definitely one I'm looking at. I probably would have to go down to Saliba to do it. I don't think I could get there with Gabriel.
Yeah.
Because you're only freeing up about 1.5, aren't you?
Yeah, you definitely need the 2 million.
Need 2 million. Well, at least 1.6, yeah, or something like that out of it, and you'd be okay.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. But yeah, I do think I want one more of these. The Tony. You've got the Tony, a Tony, a Mitro, a Madison, a Zaha. I feel like with fixture crunches coming, having some nailed players that are talismans in their own team feels like a sensible place to be. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. Early thoughts for now. Obviously, we've still got Liverpool United. We haven't spoken about Liverpool in 2 weeks because they played on Monday last week. Isn't it? They're playing on Monday this week. I mean, is there anything we can take from Liverpool last week that we can apply to anything at the moment?
No, we just have to see how it plays
out. They need to get going.
We have to see how it plays out.
They need to get going. If they, I mean, and the defensive issues from an injury perspective worry me. Owning Trent.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
The only thing that's helped, I think that, okay, what I will say is I think Salah at the moment feels like a better option whilst Darwin is out.
Correct.
Yeah, so 100%. Right now I've got no qualms about moving on Salah or thinking about moving on Salah. That said, when Darwin comes back in, we've seen already that he sucks up XG. We've seen already that he has combined with Salah, admittedly, as well. So I'd like to see that over a 90-minute. We didn't get the whole game, did we? So
yeah,
I think we need to see how that combines over 90 minutes rather than just 20 before we make any sort of outlandish decisions on what to do with Salah. But I mean, you could, in theory, I don't think Salah is as critical as was made out at the start of the season. I don't think he is.
No, but I think we thought that if someone went without Salah, most people that went without him felt that Son would be the one to cover him, and he's not that option now.
Yeah,
and
it's actually been KDB.
And then it's like, yeah,
hindsighty, but yeah, it's actually been KDB. So yeah, people have been a bit unlucky there, I guess.
I think that's all we can take from this. For those that tune in and stuff, we've talked about maybe we should look at doing something towards the end of the week, and if you think that's a good idea for us to do something more towards the end of the week as well, let us know. We're trying to work out how we could possibly do it and how we could get our families to agree that we would do it.
Yeah, that's true. The issue that we've got is we've got games every 3 days, mate. So we need to think about how we're going to do content with games. We can't do it. We can't do a podcast every 2 game weeks. That's not going to work.
Well, we'll work it out.
We'll have to figure it out somehow. But I think we need to leave it there, mate, for now.
Good.
3. You got 3 to play tomorrow.
We got 3 to play tomorrow.
There's a couple of questions. Sorry, just last quickly. Sorry, people are saying about captaincy next week. I mean, I know Jesus has Fulham at home, but just if you've got Salah, captain Salah. If you haven't got Salah, captain Jesus. And if you haven't got Salah or Jesus, wild card.
Captain Haaland.
Okay, yeah, or Haaland. Yeah, there you go.
Palace.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. It's the same as this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those 3 at the moment are still the captain options.
Yeah.
Need a bit of luck.
Cool.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. And yeah, we will speak to you next week.
See you later.
Cheers,
bye.
Mate. Bye.